Hey everyone, I'm Aarti. I'm a group product manager at Microsoft, and I'm also one of the co-founders for Pacific Northwest Product Group. Welcome to our very first podcast. Our mission at Pacific Northwest Product is to build a local community of product enthusiasts where people can get to know each other, get to know meet the like-minded people, and learn from each other. To that end, as promised, we are bringing bite-sized podcasts to this group where you can hear from local executives, learn about what they have been up to, what kind of new innovative things they have been leading in their areas, and hear directly from them. Today, I'm very excited to have Sohail Mohammed, who agreed to join us and share about his journey. So I'm going to introduce Sohail a little bit here. Sohail is a Senior Vice President of Engineering and Operations at Salesforce. He is responsible for building and running high compliance instances of Salesforce products specifically for public sector customers, which includes sales, states, federal, and defense agencies for the US government. Prior to Salesforce, Sohail spent 22 years at Microsoft building various technologies in the field of audio, video, imaging, networking, and security to enable consumers as well as business applications across a variety of platforms, including desktop, mobile, and cloud. Some examples of impactful products Sohail has led over the years include DirectX, Media Foundation, Windows Media Player, Photo Gallery, Microsoft Healthcare Solutions, and big data analytics for Windows and Azure. And the list goes on. Without further delay, Sohail, thank you for joining us. And is there anything else you would like to add and share your journey about with this group?
First, I'd like to thank you, Aarti. It's truly a pleasure to see you take the initiative and driving this forum. It's incredible. We really need this type of talent. And in the Pacific Northwest, it's been too long. Silicon Valley has been at the top, and now it's time to take that place.
So maybe start out with how you, in your journey, chose your career steps. What has been your journey like? For example, did you always know what you wanted to be, where you wanted to go, or did you take things as they come along? So just curious, how did you choose your career steps?
I would say, I think I was driven by some values and general kind of traits in my nature, curiosity, and having purpose in what I do. I didn't necessarily know what I would be doing or where I would be in my career when I started. I initially wanted to be a mechanical engineer, but some smart person at that time pointed me towards software and computer science. And I ended up doing my bachelor's, actually both my even graduate studies in computer science. But I discovered the power of software in my undergraduate program. And then ever since, I've been looking to solve any real world problem with meaningful impact and has tangible kind of outcomes using software and technology. So that's just become part of my grain now.
So anything you can share about, maybe you mentioned your undergrad. So what kind of experiences did you have that may have shaped your early thinking or early thoughts?
So one of the pivotal experiences I had during my school years, undergrad, was I think about third year, we were looking for some decent sized project, like a 6-month project to work on. And I found one of the metallurgy professors in our school in the mechanical department, mechanical engineer department, looking to do heat transfer analysis. I've always been interested in physics and mechanics and things like that. So it kind of piqued my interest and I learned about it. And it was really about understanding how metals are casted. And the applications of that are pretty broad. It's taking any alloy and putting it in a mold, and as it cools down, it develops structural issues sometimes, and engineers want to know that ahead of time so that they don't distribute those parts with the problems. Later, several years later, I found out that my project was part of what was used to design missiles by the Indian defense agencies. And I wasn't too happy about what outcome that might bring about, but at the time, it was one of those moments where I could see the power of software to solve real world problems.
So it looks like that was your very first venture into automating the quality assurance and the testing part of it.
Absolutely. I think I wasn't aware of these disciplines at the time, but I did understand that it was important to have quality, reliability in some of these applications, especially mission critical applications.
Are there any other memorable parts of your experience in your early part of your career that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, when I graduated finally from my master's, I was hoping to go solve some really cool technology problems, and at the time, graphics and simulation and things like Jurassic Park were coming out. I don't know if you remember the first version. It was just mesmerizing to see computer graphics at that state. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a job. It was 1993, and the economy wasn't doing that great. So I ended up looking for jobs, and only real jobs were about solving real problems and not just entertainment. And one of the opportunities was to work for a medical company. And this was about building dialysis machines using personal computer parts. So this was PC-based, x86 based machines that are really filters. They take the toxins out of blood and improve the quality of the blood. And from a technical point of view, it was just a highly effective, efficient filter. But from a real world point of view, it was helping several people with renal failures, especially diabetics in late stages, develop issues where they end up requiring dialysis because their body cannot filter the toxins itself. The kidneys can't. So you have to get into this dialysis kind of rhythm. So one of the defining moments for me was when I did my first customer visit. Hiding in the engineering kind of sections, you never really get a sense for what your software is being used for. So I decided to accompany our business guys, and I went to the customer, and it was a very kind of surreal experience. I saw it was a pediatric clinic, and I saw a lot of children connected to these machines. And the thing that really kind of touched me was that this was not a one-time process or a procedure. These kids require dialysis 3 times a week for the rest of their lives. And so not only that does that machine needs to work, the infrastructure behind it, the power, the facilities, all of that needs to be up and running. And the quality of the procedure depends on the software, on the hardware quality and things like that. So that really kind of showed me a different part of how software can be used, as well as how much power it has in solving more meaningful problems than just technology and things like that. So then I realized technology is a means to an end, and the end started mattering to me. And that's how later part of my career was driven largely by these types of early influences on me. So.
Awesome. So I think you're just highlighting an important aspect of product management, which is how real customer interactions shaped your thought process. It built more empathy in you. It gave you new insights about what was happening on the ground, how they were being used, and how you leveraged it in designing your solutions. And
Absolutely. I think, what does a bug mean? What does a priority of a bug mean? You don't have as much of a sense in isolation.
And then after that, what led you to Salesforce? Because we saw you have worked on a gazillion products in Microsoft. You have a really broader experience there. So what led you to Salesforce?
So I was quite happy solving all these new, bringing new technologies to Windows, like music, movies, high definition movies, photo gallery, digital photos, and things like that. So it was quite a ride, and was building technology after technology, and then I got to a point where I started missing the customer connection, and I really wanted. I wasn't getting the depth of satisfaction that
It sounds like you were in tech, deep tech, and you were itching to experience the product side of it.
There you go. So that's probably the first time I discovered that I had a product manager in me. Commerce, and the place where I came in was all of this software was really very well loved by customers, mostly big like Fortune 500 customers, big enterprises around the world as well. And when I got to Salesforce, one of the problems, there are a couple problems that I was given to look at, but the one I chose was the rich set of products that are available for private sector, all these big business, big enterprises. I saw that the software has a lot more kind of ability to have impact in public sector. Basically, Salesforce can be easily tailored and adapted to help agencies interact with their customers, who are citizens of our city and residents of our cities, and really improve the citizen experience to match what you will find in some of these top tier businesses. When you look at Adidas, Tiffany's, like T-Mobile, all of these are Salesforce customers, and their experience, even Caesars in Vegas. And when you go there, you get a very personalized service. They know about you, they remember your preferences, they will make sure that they can give you a customer service that is exactly kind of matches your needs. And the government need that same kind of tooling to help engage with their customers. What is our experience when we go to the DMV or the postal services, or when we go to the immigration?
We all have experienced it.
So, or like applying for federal loans or things like that. Experience is has a lot more room to improve. And so I got an opportunity to take this tech into the public sector. It was not about building new features. It was more about enabling this access to this capability. And that was really where I was able to take this product and raise its security, kind of the data protection capabilities, and meet the requirements for the national kind of security data or defense data, or even storing our children's personal, financial, health, a lot of this data that the governments really track. And so that kind of is what really kind of kept me at Salesforce. And I spent about a good 6 years building various environments that are isolated at different levels of classifications, because the data that state level agencies deal with versus say the defense agencies deal with at federal level versus national security, the requirements are quite stringent. And to meet those requirements, it was an amazing technical and operational challenge to protect the data while enabling these rich experience in highly isolated regions. The whole cloud is about multi-tenant. You can't do multi-tenant in this agency. Government agencies don't want their data to be intermixed with private sector. So that's kind of the problem that I worked on.
Wow. So that's actually very interesting. So what you are calling out is a lot of times, I think product managers, we tend to go after the new shining object or new cool technology or new, like today's all the co-pilots and the AI and all that. But I think what you are highlighting is a super important, interesting point is how you leverage the existing assets the company had, tools, capabilities, and all that, applied a layer of security and compliance to it, and made that available to a net new customer segment, which is all of your public sector, which generated tremendous value for your company, for your customers, and how you made it a win-win situation for everybody. So I think that's incredible learning there. So you touched on several of your experiences. Thinking and reflecting on your career experiences, is there anything that you think you would change going back in time about your career? And I'm asking this, so what can this product community learn from your journey on that front?
I would say it took me a while to really understand what I liked and what was driving me on a day-to-day basis, more subconsciously. It's like what sort of problems attracted me and what kind of trade-offs was I willing to make to go down that path. So these were probably things that are more relevant at a personal level. So what I would say is know what your drivers are. And the reason I say that when I look back, what I would have changed was if I knew this, I'd be a lot happier going through the journey and smelling the roses while I was going through that, and not just fixated on outcomes. And the thing that I would say is rewards are not tied to results. They are tied to impact.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you complete you've solved some major problem, but the solution is not the end of it. It's the adoption, the impact, and it takes years for that to happen. So what I've appreciated over my career is that I kind of got disappointed when I didn't get recognized immediately, and like, why did all this stuff? And over time, I realized that it takes a while for it to have impact. And if you build something lasting, that's kind of something that is a bigger thing for me than just the immediate whatever bonus or I would say kind of promotion. So you have to have this in context a little bit.
Any other final advice to this product group, Sohail?
I would say don't accept status quo. Usually when you are at the beginning of some new solving a problem, you can't give up on these things by just looking at existing technology. One of the pitfalls that I've seen is that people go look for the best tech that's available, and if it can't solve it, or the best people at the time, what I've found in my personal experience is they may not be the right tools and they may not be the right people, because the experts that you hire are grounded in yesterday's reality. They are experts on the tech that exists, which is not able to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. So one example is in Microsoft Azure, we were trying to figure out meaning out of this petabytes of data. I interviewed a ton of data scientists at the time, and all of them would ask me for a spec. Like, how does the system work? Then we can model it for you, and we can give you all kinds of insights. These are more like the Boeing parts simulated in software. So you'll find a lot of structured kind of analytics. What I realized was what we needed was gaining insight from stuff that we didn't understand. We didn't know how there is no way you can actually come up with a simulation of Azure, which has I don't know, trillions of moving parts. in there, right? So it takes a beginner's mind, it takes humility to actually start at the ground level and not get too caught up in your knowledge or in your expertise in the existing tool sets to really get past into the new world, to cross that chasm. That was one of the things that I learned over and over, that hiring the best people at the time doesn't necessarily solve the future's problem. So you need to always hire people who are open-minded, who have the talent, but they're willing to improvise and willing to apply and think in new ways. I think that's one of the things I would say is, whether you're an engineer or a product managers have to understand the customer impact, but they also have to set expectations carefully. So it's, when you're building new technology, you really don't know how long it's going to take, what the ROI would be, or what really you can accomplish. So it's a tough job. So I would say approach it iteratively, keep the customer in the design loop, and fail early and often, but iterate with the customer. So, and customer will be more than happy to give you feedback, and you're actually building it with the customer's input, guided by customers' needs, and you're solving the problem in kind of smaller chunks that are measurable.
I think I learned tremendously from this. And just to summarize, I think some of the things I found really helpful are your focus on how you have been always curious about the problems, how you have always been focused on solving real world problems, what you learn from real customer interactions, as opposed to, like, sometimes people keep working in isolation. The kind of empathy, the kind of insights you build from your customer interaction experiences is amazing. And I think I really learned about technology is a means to an end. Always figure out ways to apply the existing tech to real problems to really deliver the impact, and have the patience of not just delivering the results, but also landing the impacts for your customer, for your company, and everybody. I'm going to leave this with takeaway of know your true drivers, really do self-reflection on what motivates you, and that will hopefully shape your journey. So thank you so much, Sohail, for joining us today. For all the product folks, I hope this was very helpful to you. Stay tuned for our more upcoming podcasts. And anything you want to learn more about or hear about a specific topics, please leave us a note in the comments and we'll bring those to you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sohail, once again. Really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aarti. It was a pleasure. And your energy and passion are infectious. So I'm looking forward to amazing results.
Thank you. Thank you so much.